Welcome everyone, I'm Dale and this is Cinema Historia. A frustrated wealthy businessman, a park bench, and a new opportunity. This week we're going back to 1935 for a screwball comedy called If You Could Only Cook, starring Herbert Marshall, Jean Arthur, and Leo Carrillo. And this is directed by William A. Sider. So, where does our story begin this week? Well, our story begins with the wealthy president of Buchanan Motor Company, Jim Buchanan, played by Herbert Marshall. Jim, who is engaged to Evelyn Fletcher, a bossy socialite, and is only interested in Jim for his money, has become unhappy. In addition, Jim's fellow executives reject his plan to introduce a new automobile design. With the wedding still a week away, he declares himself sick and tired of everything and tells his butler Jennings to tell everyone he has gone fishing. Going for a walk in the park to collect his thoughts, he meets a young woman named Joan Hawthorne, played by Jean Arthur. Joan is having trouble finding a job and has just been evicted from her apartment. Reading the want ads for employment, she assumes Jim is a job hunter as well. She sees a combined job opening at Rosini Manor for a butler and cook at $175 a month, but must be married. Wanting a change of pace, Jim accepts Joan's offer of posing as husband, but without revealing his true identity. Posing as Mr. and Mrs. Burns and proving she is a good cook, they are soon hired by bootlegger Michael Rosini, played by Leo Carrillo. To improve his skills, Jim sneaks away at night and takes lessons from his own butler Jennings. He also goes to his Buchanan office and takes some of his automobile sketches from the company safe to show to Joan. Impressed with his designs and wanting to help, Joan shows them to an executive of one of Buchanan's competitors. With the executive recognizing Buchanan's style, Joan is soon arrested for theft. Having fallen in love with Jim but still not knowing his true identity, she refuses to help the police find him. So, does Jim abandon his butler duties and return to marry Evelyn? Does Joan escape jail and find out Jim's true identity? Or does Rosini's bootlegging gang give Cupid a helping hand? This story was written by playwright, screenwriter, and novelist Frederick Hugh Herbert and was released on December 30th, 1935. 91% of Google users like this movie, and an 80% rating from Amazon's customer reviewers makes such claims as: the acting, writing, and cinematography are all wonderful. Buy it and enjoy it many times over. Good plot. The cast meshes together like the gears of an expensive timepiece. And this is a very charming story, a great, funny, old movie. And I would totally agree with that. And Joan portrays a really good cook. And our trivia question this week: did a fictional company in our film really exist? Did a fictional company in our film really exist? So, a little more history and the answer to our trivia question coming up next. Well, since a portion of our film involves cooking, and it is the holiday baking season, this week we're going to talk about a former flour company for history, the Washburn-Crosby Company. So originally, the Minneapolis Milling Company, incorporated in 1856, was founded by Illinois Congressman Robert Smith. Smith in turn leased power rights to 4 mills operating along the west side of St. Anthony Falls on Mississippi River in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Cadwallader C. Washburn later acquired the company and hired his brother William D. Washburn to assist in the company's development. The Washburn B. Mill building was built at the Falls in 1866, and to keep up with demand, an even bigger Washburn A. Mill was built in 1874. At the time of its opening, it was the largest industrial building in the city and the largest flour mill in the world. In 1877, the mill entered a partnership with John Crosby to form the Washburn-Crosby Company, producing winter wheat flour. With about 200 employees in 1878, it was also one of the largest employers. In 1880, Washburn-Crosby flour brands won gold, silver, and bronze medals at the Millers International Exhibition in Cincinnati, launching the gold medal flour brand. On June 20th, 1928, General Mills was created when Washburn-Crosby president James Ford Bell merged Washburn-Crosby with 3 other mills. Shares of the new company stock sold on the New York Stock Exchange on November 30th, 1928 at $65 per share. Despite the Great Depression and World War II, General Mills flourished thanks to its commitment to keep delivering something new. The First Lady of Food, Betty Crocker, was established in 1921. The Wheaties Quartet, a singing radio commercial, debuts in 1926. Household Pantry Bisquick was developed in 1931. In 1941, Cheerios launched, which changed to Cheerios in 1945. The Pillsbury Doughboy debuted in 1965. General Mills acquired Yoplait in 1970. In 1983, the Pillsbury Company bought Haagen-Dazs. In 2001, General Mills acquired the Pillsbury Company, one of the world's largest food companies. And today, the General Mills family is made up of over 100 brands in 100 countries on 6 continents. Isn't that just amazing? And the answer to our trivia question this week: did a fictional company in our film really exist? Well, yes, though not in 1935, according to my research, but a Buchanan Motor Company did exist. The NH Buchanan Motor Company Limited was an Australian kit car manufacturer which made sports cars in the 1950s. Originally based on an Aston Martin DB3S racing car, fiberglass bodies were also used on early model MGs. Racing car kits also use fabricated X-frame chassis and mechanicals from Holden. The Buchanan Cobra was introduced in 1958 as a production vehicle, with only 7 being manufactured, and I can only imagine what they're worth today. A big thank you for all my new subscribers this week, and for everyone taking the time out of their busy schedule for my channel. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope to see you back next week.
Stick him up. Come on, get him up, get him up. Stick him up. Didn't you hear the boss? Come on, stick him up, fancy pants. Stick him up. Did you hear the boss? Get him up. You're putting him up, or ain't you?
Yes. Oh!
Stick him up. Hiya, James.